All right, welcome back to the Retention Playbook for Agents. I'm Eric with Agent Equity Group. Thank you for being with us today. We've got Miranda and Brian from our team, as well as our uh, wonderful, fabulous rep from Aetna, Ryan Cherkaleski, is going to be walking through most of these things. I do have to get a few housekeeping items out of the way. If you wouldn't mind muting your microphone unless you have a question, which we will definitely accept. We do have the chat. Melinda kicked us off in the chat, says I'm everywhere, which is fantastic. I'll be monitoring that. We do want this to be interactive. And for your interactiveness, I do have another prize. We've got a $25 Visa gift card. Thank you, Brian. We are going to pick one name from the attendees, and I put your name in multiple times when you participate in the chat or ask questions. If anybody hasn't heard the news, yes, I did have a heart attack at the end of January, but thankfully Brian was in the office, and I have a shirt that is Brian Platty saved my life. A nice thumbs up and smile.
Oh
In
my
the office, we
goodness.
do graphic tee Fridays with a sport coat, just to keep things fun. And always remember and thank Brian for saving my life. So
I absolutely love that.
with that, Ryan, I'll kick it over to you. And let's talk about retaining and growing our agent's business.
Before we do that, I have one follow-up question. Was that post him saving your life, the picture, or was that just a generic Brian picture you had?
Just a picture, I think we maybe pulled off of Facebook or my reel of he is wearing his NoFX shirt, so I think that was from Vegas maybe. When we went to the Punk Rock Hall of Fame.
Oh, that would have been fun.
That was a fun day. And actually met Fat Mike,
Really?
one of Brian's inspirations in playing the guitar, and Mike gave him a little even lesson on how to play one of his songs that he wrote.
I'm sorry for the derailment real quick, but was that just like him being in town at a fluke and you guys met him at the same time?
I
No,
think he got
actually, so he opened up the museum when we were there a couple weeks before, and we were taking we were going through the museum, and out of kind of this my peripheral vision, I noticed that he was there, and I totally fanboyed. And upstairs in the museum, they have musical instruments from Green Day and all these real just from
Legends.
and everything, and you actually got to play the instruments. So I'm in there just jamming, doing my thing, and then he walks in and is like, "Hey, you want to jam?" So I was able to play
Oh,
a sing along with him. We had a bunch of other famous people in there, and I think we played Basket Case by Green Day. And it was one of those moments in my life that I was like, this isn't really happening type thing.
you were in heaven for a moment there. That was amazing.
Yeah.
well, it's
Oh my God.
hilarious because Brian's like, "Oh my gosh, that's Fat Mike," and I'm like, "Who?" He's like, "It would be like if Tiger Woods walked in right now." I'm like, "Oh, this is a big deal."
Beautiful perspective for him to be able to get that
Yeah.
one, Brian.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll stop with the derailment. That's a really cool story. I kind of love where it went from there. But let's go in and talk about why we're here, why we should actually focus on retention, and how we can really help you maintain the growth that you've done over AEP throughout now the third month of OEP, and help you take that to be able to grow further from it. These top three reasons that you see here, we're going to go more into detail with them. But today we're going to be asking different things from you guys, finding out what you've maybe done. Maybe if you've taken some of the things that we've done in the last two episodes and maybe put them towards some of your retention strategies. But really, it's going to come down to these three things. Client retention equals income stability. It's going to be happy retained clients are going to give you those referrals where you help grow your book. And more importantly, retention equals customer loyalty. And that book is going to grow with you. The larger you have those books, instead of just rewriting that book every single year to a different carrier or a different thing, the more you start to grow based upon what that member's needs are, not based upon what your understanding is, you'll be surprised on how much you can actually soar into an industry like this. So let's talk about, client retention and income stability. We all worked our butt off this year during AEP. I'm sure it was one of those things that we all like, wait, is this the new norm? Is this how everything's going to be reacted? But for the first time in almost the last 10 years, our members were actually actively calling us because there was a very large change happening in the industry. And, all that extra work and all those extra pieces that you did to be able to not only keep those people, but then also grow this year during AEP, it's important to actually take a little bit of extra initiative during OEP that we're going to talk about to actually keep them in your back pocket, to help them keep doing more referrals, to help them keep saying, hey, wear a shirt that says I saved my life. Little things like that are the ways you're probably not going to get that type of level of relationship with some of your members, but those little things are what we're looking for. Those little relationships are going to help you keep your costs low and your growth high, because the more your members understand that you are essentially there for them and not just for the product, you're going to be able to grow year over year with your business. So that kind of leads right into this. The happy retained clients are going to be those referral people. You took all that extra effort. You went through all these extra things during AEP. You had a million different changes to how the carriers rolled out plans this year. What you did is you still help your members know that you're there for them. You help empower them with the changes and say, hey, if there is any issues, let me be here to help you with that. Let me get you over to the next steps. And if not, let me empower you how to do that on your own. Here's how you can go to the website. Here's how you can go and do these things. Here's how you can check that medication or get signed up for the mail order stuff. There's a lot of things that us as brokers, we're here to help our members and we're here to take care of them. But we also can't be 24/7 on the phone taking care of every single one of our members. So literally giving them the freedom to take care of themselves not only helps empower their choice that they made as you as a broker, but also empowers their choice on the plan that they're on, so that they know that they're not going to come back to you in June and say, hey, I want to leave. And also knowing that, hey, there's no capability for you to leave. You're stuck until the end of the year. I hope you had a great day with me. These little things are just ways to be able to help you reach out, but then more importantly, build your book of business with empowering those clients, because they're going to start to talk about the relationship you gave them, the understanding that they had as far as how great you were checking those doctors, or making sure that the deductibles wouldn't affect you, or making sure the formulary made sense for you this year, because all those were real life changes for a lot of our members. So once you build a book of those happy clients, then that customer loyalty comes to that. Eric, please go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to jump in earlier. I just wanted to put some context to your first slide in the cost of getting the business and the cost efficiency. So an independent study was done for agents, and it says that the cost on average is 7 to 9 times more for an insurance agency to acquire a new customer than to retain one. So when we talk about, we want to be efficient, we want to use our dollars properly. And in most times with agents that are with Agent Equity Group, using your profit sharing dollars to do your marketing, you can also do that on a retention basis, so that you're spending a lot less money, even percentage wise, to retain customers than you are to getting new ones. And really the biggest cost of retention is most commonly good communication. And we're going to get into some tactics of, some automated things, and some things that you can schedule out. So it's not, hey, I'm trying to do these different events. I'm trying to travel. I want to play some golf. We got some weather, some good weather coming. But I need to do my retention strategy. You could have that already booked out. So just sorry, I wanted to jump back into that a little bit. Not trying to throw you off, but
no, I actually think it was a great piece to come back to. I apologize for not pausing on that one, because there really is a cost to keeping your members, and essentially there's easy strategies out there that we don't have to recreate the wheel on to be able to be successful. We can often automate a lot of these things so that I am golfing, and the only call that I do get is the 10 people out of the 300 that I have in my book that might have a question on their OTC. But you still communicated to them. You still let them know. And this, I was actually talking to Miranda and Eric about this earlier. this month is the busiest month during OEP. Just like we have our December or late December enrollments or our last minute people on December 7th, you're going to have your folks that waited to use their plan until the third month, or waited to get their medication taken care of, or they didn't go get their checkup done until March. And you're going to have a lot more people that have actually utilized the plan that you sold them, and probably going to have more questions than they have during January and February. The whole point of these little retention strategies is to help spur those conversations earlier in January, earlier in February, and then fixing them also in March, so that you still have an ability to take care of your client and help yourself grow without losing any of those people that you work hard for. Great call out, Eric. And let's talk about that. That customer loyalty is an important piece that we're talking about. It's there. They can oftentimes go to Eric, to Courtney, to Miranda, to Brian, to all of you to get the exact same product that you're selling today. But it's how you make them feel. It's how they're remembered about the interaction that you've given them is really what's going to stand with them, is the reason why they're going to recommend you to their neighbor, why their best friends all of a sudden have a conversation with you, or why their actual nieces and nephews are calling you to answer questions. Well, it's because of those extra pieces that you went above and beyond to take care of that client, maybe sending them that birthday card, or saying, a thank you for, here's how you, for the business, or here's how you get your OTC card. If you have any questions, let me know. There's all sorts of different strategies that are out there for it. And what we built is essentially a way for you to go and do 30, 60, and 90-day follow-ups. It's not January, February, March. It's because we enroll folks all throughout the year. It could be someone in April that we're doing the 30, 60, 90 type of retention strategy too. But our largest amount of folks that we're going to do this with typically are going to fall between January, February, and March. So we're going to give you all sorts of different strategies to be able to engage your folks, but there's all sorts of great ways for you to actually start retention right at the point of sale. Eric, please lay it on.
All right, I got we've talked about this, but it seems like a bit of a newer idea. Everybody on the call, I want you to, if you're not taking notes or if you're driving, I'm going to put a challenge out there, because I want you to do this. I think it's going to save you some time in the future. Take your top questions that you get from your clients, right? We all have that 80-20 rule. 80% of my clients ask me this question, and a lot of times it's seasonal, right? So you think about, like, we're coming into spring. I got to make sure I have my umbrella, my galoshes, my raincoat, all these, I got to bring those clothes out and have them ready, because I'm probably going to be using them, right? We can anticipate some of these calls, some of these questions, and you can be proactive in getting them out to your customer before they even ask them. And I would suggest I'm making some videos. You can just grab your cell phone and do it, and then email them. You can use your computer, do a Loom video, or a number of different apps that do that stuff, and send those out and explaining and showing them, right, the steps you're taking to activate these cards, use these different benefits, sign up for this loyalty rewards program or what have you. And maybe they don't know how to play the video, but I bet their kid does, or their grandkid does, or their advocate, that, again, you're showing that you're trying to help them. It makes you super referable, because they can pass that message on to other people, and sending those out. I did something a little bit unique the other day. If you don't mind, I'm just gonna
Us.
and do this. So I found I think it's called Animoji. So it's a little recording. Let's see if I can show that. Or a little caricature. That's me, right? I made him bearded, bald, with glasses. And it actually, it follows your face, eye movements, and things like that. And then I can play. Chad, it's Eric with Agent Equity Group. Just want to send you a quick message. A little bit fun, different way of doing it. Hey, just want to congratulate you on hitting $5,000 in profit sharing already this year. So I recorded some of those and sent them out, and I was blown away by the response of, I love it. That's creative. Wow, cool. That's different. Obviously, I could have just done a video of myself and sent that as well. But just coming up with a little bit different ways to nudge people to let them know that you're here for them and available. And I think doing it, again, in a unique way has the ability to be remembered, and then you're going to be referred and being like, wow, I saw something really funny today. Yeah, of all people, my friggin' insurance agent sent me this funny video with value, made me
Yeah.
laugh, and I wanted to share it with you. Now you're, kind of building some credibility as somebody that is entertaining and educational. So just a little
I love
blip.
it because you're using technology, and I think that's pretty much the biggest thing that we really hammer home is the utilizing of technology to make these things simple for you. That could be a little bit more challenging for some of our older agents, and it could be right off the cuff that could be easier for some of our younger agents. But the biggest thing that we're showcasing you right now is there's many different strategies to be able to let you pick and choose what's right for your business and be able to execute on them. Sometimes it could be making that video. I love that idea, Eric, because it really helps a lot of folks understand what's going on. But say if you have a carrier that you might not have a lot of sales with, or that you just don't want to go ahead and create a specific one just for that. A lot of the carriers themselves have flyers, handouts, little things to be able to make it easier for a member to utilize their program as well. You don't need to recreate the wheel with a lot of these things. It's about using those creative touch points like Eric's talking about to get in front of your folks and actually have them open up the email or listen to the text message because there's a new creative way of doing that. Well, and actually, before I get to this, what I wanted to highlight is the contact information is probably one of the most important things that you can gather at the actual point of sale. And we're no longer in the 85-year-olds that never had an email or have never really picked up the internet in their life. A lot of our aging seniors have understood that their daily activities, their daily jobs, their daily interactions have an email, have internet, have interactions with the actual public through technology means. So we need to understand that emails are incredibly important at the point of interaction so that when you are actually going through and trying to do these retention pieces, it not only becomes cost effective because, hey, there's a cost to send stuff through the mail. If you do it through an email, you can oftentimes see who opened it, who are engaged with you, who are doing the right thing so that you can see, is my campaign working? Is it not? But a lot of those things come at a low cost or a much more cost efficient way for you to be able to get out there and grow rather than having to recreate the wheel just through mailers only. Things
So
like, go ahead.
yeah, I'm gonna jump in there. So I was actually reminded, I was listening to our Agents Confidential podcast this morning, shameless plug. And we are talking about business card, right? So I was saying in the recording that having somebody have your business card is one thing, but if this information for me is not in this, then I have to be wherever this card is to be able to contact them. So if I have this card at the office or at home and I'm somewhere else, I can't call my agent, right? I don't have their number. I have it, it's at home on a business card, but I don't have it because it's not in my phone. For some people, like my parents, who there's a lovely picture of my parents, is and this is a retention strategy, the My Health book, okay? And we'll talk about this a little bit. My mom has a Bible. She has an Old Testament and a New Testament because she filled the old one up on all of the contact information, all of the passwords, all of the addresses and phone numbers of everybody in her life that she needs to have. Well, if their insurance agent, Gretchen, on the back of this book, would not be in there, they wouldn't know how to call her, right? They'd have to look up PBA, they'd have to look up Gretchen to find that number. So making sure that your clients, obviously that you have their contact information, but also that they have yours in the right spot where, say, how are you going to remember that you have it or find this information? And that's where this health book comes in. So we have it in small format as well as large, super simple. I made put a pocket in here, and then it has a glossary where it has all of the different types of medical and financial contacts, preferred caregivers, family contacts, their address, emails, birthdays, all the things. Healthcare directories, their medications, how much they take, where they fill them, all the different things that you get into a section where there's actually business card holders in here that you want to have yours in there with extras that you can hand out. And then it gets into some financial data and things like that. So if anybody wants kind of a copy of that, I have a file that I can send you so that you could either print that out or just email to your client. They can print it out and they have to like kind of help them organize all of that contact information. Meanwhile, marketing yourself on it and saying, oh yeah, I gotta, let me get you my hairdresser's phone number. And they go to this book and they're like, wow, what is this? They go, oh, my agent gave it to me. Yeah, they wanted to help me organize my life. And they go, all mine sends me as a premium bill. I haven't gotten it. That'd be really helpful. Or you want a advocate, kid, surviving spouse to now take over and quarterback everything because that person is non-responsive and needs some help. Boom, right here, you just saved their day. You got all the contact information.
And you really highlight, another thing that Jamie even in the chat brought up is paper is still a way that a lot of our folks still communicate. Even though it is a more cost-effective way to use email, it might not be that cup of tea for every single member. Sometimes they want to have that binder to be able to open and close. The technology is available for us, and there's ways for us to utilize it as agents, but it doesn't mean that a lot of our folks who have been in Medicare for 10 plus years and will for another 10 won't need those additional pieces, that extra touch points, those personal contacts. And I think that's great. And I've actually seen that QR code. I've seen that be utilized very well with a lot of agents where they'll actually put that QR code on the back. And when they scan that, it automatically is the contact file that gets uploaded into their Android phone or their Apple phone with all that broker's information on it. And so what they do before they leave the home is they scan the QR code for them, because even though the technology exists and it's out there and our folks have had the internet for a while, QR codes are still scary. Doesn't matter how much we had to scan it during COVID to be able to get a menu or be able to get things to be done. It still is something that a lot of our members don't utilize. So if we scan it for them and just hit the save button, when you call them back or when you have another piece that you have a follow-up on, then that's going to come up as your information and your name right there for them to be able to see and know that it's a known contact that they're going to pick up the phone and answer. They can also share that to a friend or a family member right there and then from their phone. So it's a cool way for you to engage with your people by using still paper to make things electronically. Having both strategies is going to be incredibly helpful for you to be able to grow in a time where everything's just completely changing. Eric, go ahead one more time.
Jamie, I was just reading your note. I would love for you to take yourself off of mute and elaborate a little bit. So she wrote, writing these notes each month is part of our bonus program through our agency. So there's an incentive for us to write the notes each month. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Sounds like they're incentivizing retention. That's great to hear.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah. So the owner of our agency, he's in his 80s, so he and he still is here every day. So he's old school. So this was incorporated long before I was here, but he still believes just sending 12 to 15 notes out a month to your either your current clients you're trying to obtain, or just as a thank you, a happy birthday. It can be anything. But just as and I've kind of taken on sending mine to a lot of my Medicare clients after I write them, just, hey, thank you so much for trusting Yater Insurance Group with your Medicare. Just something short and sweet, and just our motto here is your friend in the insurance business. So then we kind of end it with that, put a business card in there, happy to help any of your friends, neighbors, for upcoming. So I use it as a marketing tool, as well as thanking them, because there's a lot of variances in 65-year-olds. Some are very tech savvy, some are not. So and I think snail mail is still, I don't know, it's still something fun to get. So
yeah,
just a little, another little, and it's part of, and when I say part of our bonus program, so they, we have a lot of categories that they use to get it, at the end of the year to get us to our bonus program. And that's one of them. That's how important our agency feels about still just sending a thank you note. If they if I get a referral from somebody, I'll just send them a quick thank you note, maybe put a $5 Starbucks card in there and say, hey, thank you for the referral. It's not much, but it's just letting them know that we as an agency appreciate them referring us. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
definitely, and it's definitely, it takes time to build a book of business. And I've really seen it in the last, and I've been doing this about 3.5 years. I've really seen it in the last, probably year and a half, where most of my business now is coming from referrals. So
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Well, you
either,
nurtured that book. You actually put in the effort to that. I'm sure
Yeah.
that was one of those things that those letters probably come back with a lot of people saying, wow, I don't get this that often, or these kind of that outreach is not really common. Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate the extra work. That is
Yeah.
probably something that you've probably gotten feedback on.
Absolutely. Yep. So yeah,
That's-
it's just it's one avenue. I'm not saying it's the make or break deal, but it's just another little fun thing that, that we can
You
do.
said
So,
the exact words I was saying earlier. It's one avenue that works well for you guys, and you guys are literally going through that. It's important to take an avenue because retention is a part of your growth, and you guys have a great, strong agency out there, and it's all because of that retention strategy that you're gaining a lot of referrals from. Well done.
And I think we talked in the past, it is, one thing I believe in the power of the, snail mail or handwritten notes is it actually takes more effort than to write a text or drop an email or make a little comment on social media. It's kind of like when, you have a birthday or you have a heart attack and, 200 some people make comments or give hearts on social media, and it's the voicemails and text messages that actually stand out more than the mass communication that you get. We also talk about bulk mail, where maybe it's just a handwritten note, but it's in like a box that has some sort of a little bit more size to it that really stands out instead of it just being a letter. But that's fantastic, Jamie. Judy commented similarly that they send out notes. We also send condolence cards to clients that have passed or any other family members in our system. It is definitely the little things. And we talked about, there are some automated services. We do want to be efficient on like birthday cards or things that are on a consistent time period that you can do, or your T65 letters and things like that. There are some of those things that you can automate, but it's almost like an active what is it? Random acts of kindness to just send somebody a little note. I was looking, my little thank you box of 25 cards was $10. So definitely going to get more value out of that. But you got to open them up and send them out.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I think the hardest thing that we have is we value our time a lot, and some of us don't view that as a strong way. But I think we've proved the contrary here on what it really does and how it actually shows a member that you care. Is to show type of an outreach is important. So let's talk about some of those ways. I mean, there's many different ways to reach out, and we just talked about two great ones with just the thanking folks and integrating yourself as far as just saying hello and I'm here and I appreciate your business, all the way to here's how you utilize your plan. Here's how you actually get your stuff done. Here's how you can actually go through the things that we talked about to make sure that your healthcare journey is important for me and you. So, I mean, the first 30 days that you're always going to want to talk about is, hey, can you access your benefits? Do you have your card? Have you gotten your confirmation letter? Have you gotten your OTC? All these different things can actually be little easy touch points that if someone doesn't after 30 days, they might actually have been too late or have been missing out an entire month of actual allowances that they could have utilized just by us reaching out that month early and saying, oh, let me make an additional phone call, let me send up an email, let me get that card out to you. That means a lot to our members. And that could just be one major email saying to 450 people, hey, have you gotten your card or your actual OTC yet? No, that's an email that can come back to them, or it could be a follow-up call. I've used things like Sly Broadcast in the past where it's just a voicemail that goes straight to their phone. And all that says is, hey, it's Ryan. Just wanted to make sure you had gotten a chance to get your card. And Have you used your OTC yet? If not, hey, do me a favor, give me a call back. I'd love to hear from you. Click. None of that is specific to a plan. None of that is specific to the person, but you can do that to 450 people and still have it feel like it's a personal touch. So little things like that are ways to be able to get out there. And 31 through 60 is, all right, highlighting those extras. Have you gone out and gotten your dental done? Have you gotten your hearing done? Have you actually tried to utilize the healthy foods? Like those little things are important for our members. After they know that they're on the plan, they feel comfortable with it. How do you actually help them utilize it? It could be just a simple email saying, hey, have you gone to your doctor yet? Have you gotten your mail order medications done? And again, it doesn't have to be incredibly personalized where you have to spend 15 minutes writing out every single email. It could be one email that has a personal touch and still hits all those people all at once. Then 61 to 90, it's additional resources, doing benefits checkups with them, talking about ancillary hospital indemnities, cancer, heart attack, and strokes, hospital home recovery plans. Things like that are great ways for you to touch with your agents. And real quick, I'll hit this point. Say if they ever do leave you and they ever do leave as a Medicare Advantage client, well, then you also have them as a hospital indemnity or cancer, heart attack, and stroke, where they're still your clients for you to actively be able to reach out to those folks. Eric, go ahead with the next.
Yeah, I love that you said additional resources because we also have to look at the other financial and insurance products you could offer them. I love the tactic of it's called Did You Know, or there's also reverse Did You Knows, but a Did You Know is did you know that I also provide life, annuities, hospital indemnities, like you're talking about, long-term care, and some of these other financial insurance products. You're not marketing it. They are already your client, so you are falling under some umbrella of safety, if you will, of approaching your clients with some of these other services, and keeping it very vague and generalized, and saying, I can help you or anybody else in these areas as well, right? They might have a friend that's retiring that's 62, and they don't know where to park their 401k, or they're tired of the market volatility, so they want to create their own pension for themselves, or somebody just had a baby and the parents need life insurance. Reminder that you can help them with that, and in those different areas, because I feel like a lot of times, and you'd have to ask yourself this, is when I think of somebody, do I pigeonhole them into X, right? Oh, they're a golfer. That's my home and auto, but they don't help, they couldn't help me with anything else. Oh, that's just my Medicare person. Well, you can be a lot more to them if you share what else you can be by telling them, did you know these are the other services we provide?
Yeah, and those are incredibly important things that can really help grow your book. Telling them to follow you on social media, and you might all of a sudden be sharing, in Agent Confidential's podcast, and you might have a Facebook group that you've utilized and help agents grow throughout the entire United States. Little things like this are things that you do as an FMO partner. Why don't we do that to our clients? Why don't we do that to tell them, hey, I have a social media page that I'm going to tell you about the senior expo that's down the road, the changes that are happening in Part D, that I offer life, health, annuity, all these other things that they can naturally see from a passive point of view, where they're on naturally scrolling through Facebook and they see Eric pop up and he's wearing the shirt that Brian saved his life, and it gives them a little smile of the memory. But it's a great touch point where they can just simply follow you on social media or stuff along those lines. Little easy ways to help engage them while you're not bombarding them like they feel with an email or with an over intrusive marketing. I love that, Eric.
Yeah.
So the first 30 days, we talked about it briefly, and I don't want to necessarily highlight too much of this, but member ID cards are incredibly important. Have you received your card? Have you gone and used your OTC? Have you gotten your prescription refilled yet? What was that like? Was it a experience where all of a sudden you got a deductible? Because we all know there's a lot of plans this year that now have a medical deductible, or the cost of their prescriptions went up. So helping them through that piece, letting them know that, hey, I don't know if you remember, but M3P exists. you can go on the Medicare payment program if you wanted to be able to smooth that out. Instead of them saying, oh, the interaction I got from Eric was a bad one. He promised XYZ, and I went to the pharmacy and I got ABD. So I need to call someone else who's going to take care of me. A simple little email or a simple follow-up to say, hey, I wanted to make sure the thing went well with you. How'd that go? Little tiny touch points like that in the first 30 days go a long way. Eric?
Yeah, Ryan, you brought something up, and I do this when I recruit agents to our platform, is I talk about the breakup before the marriage and saying, you know, let's talk about, if you have an issue, what are the steps that, you know, we both want you to take? Because if you don't talk about it, they're just going to do whatever they think they want to do. I'm upset. I'm going to call, email, post on social media how terrible you are, you know, overreact in all these different ways, when if you had coached them saying, if anything happens outside of what you think should happen or what we've talked about, here's what I would like you to do. We have a very interactive website, whether it's creating a ticket, putting a question in, sending an email, or, maybe you want them to call you, but coach them up on how you want them to resolve issues like this, rather than them just guessing, hey, this is what I'm just going to keep calling Ryan until he picks up. Eventually he'll pick up. I'm not going to leave him a voicemail, and they're just going to blow your phone up all day long until you answer. Like, I'd rather have them send an email, highlighting what it is so I can get working on it and get them the answer and resolve it.
Telesales counts on you guys not doing these things, because when they see a television ad or they get a phone call from a random person, that person is now a savior because they were experiencing problems with what they're doing with their current Medicare plan. Instead of you saying, I'm there to help them and being proactive on their issues, when they get that email or that call from Eric saying, let's fix it, let's get that taken care of, I don't want you to be in that experience, they're not going to pick up those phones. They're not going to go through the quoting process with those telesales agents, because there's oftentimes a reason for success on a lot of those is they promise them that the problem that they're having right now is not going to continue into the new plan. Now, we all know that not to be the truth. It's more than likely probably a Medicare issue that's causing that. But this is an easy way for you to prevent those telesales people from coming in and taking that book of business from you. So let's talk about the next steps. Well, Aetna specifically has plan videos that you can utilize and go right to the website that will take them through what their journey is, how to submit dental work, how to go use their OTC, little things on what to go do when you go see your pharmacist, what to go see when you go see your PCP. Little things like that are just little ways to help educate the member on that. Again, they're going to want to feel like they're empowered to be able to use their plan, not necessarily that they're running into all these hurdles and that I have to contact Eric to be able to go through all those. Some of them want to be autonomous. Some of them want to be able to click something online and be able to see that and not have to bother Eric for his appointments today. But those that don't, or that have any issues, then all of a sudden they're going to give a call because you've reached out to them and said it's okay to do so. So it is important to share them those little videos, to give them access to the member app or the website. How do they get in and actually see some of the information? Like, where's my claim status? Where's my DMR at? Where's that fitness reimbursement? You can actually see all these things real live time on their member account right from Aetna's website. Every carrier has things like that. It's important to utilize them that they've been given, because as long as that member is out there utilizing their plan and growing with it, they're more than likely still growing with you, and they're not going to a telesales partner. So, and this is another one too, as we talked about it in the first one, it is a big thing to still talk about it in the second month. Have you gone and gotten your prescriptions? How are those going? M3P still is a thing for you, because that is going to be a continual pain all throughout the year until they hit their deductible, or all of a sudden they hit that $2,000 MOOP. Let's talk about the next piece. There's a lot of changes to how gym membership works, how OTC works, how a lot of these things. And Aetna still uses SilverScript, and we still utilize our OTC pieces, but a lot of other carriers have chosen to go to their own fitness plans or choosing to go do a different type of an OTC this year, helping the members utilize that and being able to understand that there is going to be some differences from this year to last year. Have you gone and gotten your OTC yet? Eric mentioned a great thing in spring. Well, hey, have you gotten your allergy pills yet? Have you gone and taken a look at those things on the OTC? Make sure you get your bandages and all your stuff for your road care trip, or your first aid kit when you're traveling. Little things like that are great ways to encourage them to utilize it. And then they're going to have the experience that you're hoping that they're going to have. Or if they have a bad one, then you can go back and address that. And you can actually be that advocate for them. Again, the effort you do to be able to help that member across their Medicare journey is going to be reciprocated to the next referral person that they talk to the next friend or family member that are talking to you about the services that you're doing. There's a lot of great things in this 60 to 90 that we talk about. There's things like benefits checkup in a year where a lot of the SEPs have changed. There's no longer the dual eligible SEP for maintaining. It's now if they're newly eligible or recently lost their Medicaid status. There could be folks out there that don't realize they actually qualify for SEPs. So Aetna uses a thing called benefits checkup, where we utilize over 2,500 different programs throughout the entire United States. And all it does is it takes a quick little 5-minute little information from the member, and it spits out, hey, you qualify for these 100 programs. It could be medication assistance. It could be utility assistance. It could be rent, or it could be, hey, you actually qualify for extra help, or you qualify for Medicaid. Here's where you go and do that application right from the website. And that's a partnership with the National Council of Aging. The cool thing about doing events with, say, the benefits checkup is that's all educational as well. So as we go outside of the March time where we can enroll folks for April 1st, and we get into that lock-in period between April and October, we need to find those SEPs to be able to help folks. So telling them, hey, I do have a program that I can run you through a bunch of different things. Would you like me to do that for you to find out if you're eligible for food assistance or property tax assistance? Little things like that are just ways for the member to trust you as their agent as they age into their home and age into their Medicare journey. Eric, anything else?
Yeah, I had one. It's interesting. We always, I feel like we talk about, making sure that, things went well, or that, overcoming when things go bad. What about celebrating the good? So when we meet with clients, a lot of times they'll have some thorn in their side, or some bee in their bonnet, if you will, about something that's really important to them, like the MOOP, or the a copay on their specialist. And they ask you 5 times before they leave, like, it's $35, right? It's going to be $35. Like, if you know that that's that important to them, and they probably are going to go use it, and they ask, how was that specialist visit? What was the copay again? Oh, it was $35, just like you said, Ryan. You were right. You know your shit. Like, let's celebrate the good stuff.
Correct.
When they had a good experience, when it went the way you said it was going to. I thought you were full of shit, man. I went to the YMCA and I used the sauna, the steam room, all the things that I didn't think that I would even be able to use that facility, and it doesn't cost me anything. It's unbelievable, man. I'm loving it.
And these are all just little tiny ways for us to make sure that our members know that you are there for them and not just for the dollar that you receive by enrolling them. These little things will guarantee that referral, guarantee that next person gets to know who Eric is and how you can help them a little bit further. So let's go a little bit further and talk about how we can retain in a very difficult area, which is DSNP. DSNP is not an easy retention piece, and it's often because our folks typically did have that quarterly SEP to be able to change once every single quarter just because they had Medicare and Medicaid. That goes away this year. So that as soon as April hits and the opportunity during OEP to make a change, those members are locked in just like the normal general enrollment categories are. So it's important that when they have an issue or they have some types of problems with maybe their dental or their care management not necessarily helping out, or their PCP doesn't have the right authorization for this, or the transportation didn't show up. Oftentimes we get those calls, and we're oftentimes the folks that has to call another person to get that squared away. Aetna and many other actual carriers have care managers that actually are designed to help you through these processes. For Aetna, there's a 4-person care management team. When you call our member services number, they actually will get something out there that's a member advocate, care coordinator, a nurse practitioner, and a nurse social worker. So they can help all these different members through all the different issues that they have. They can look at the PCP's authorization and call the pharmacy, all things that you can't do because those are all medical sides of the equation. We then help remove those roadblocks. And having somebody that is an advocate for that member, and it might not be you, but what you've done is you've introduced them to it and you help affirm all the promises that you talked about at that kitchen table. They're not only going to refer more folks to you, but they're more than likely going to stay on that plan, which is some of the hardest things for us to keep with our DSNP. Is they're typically flight risk. They go from one plan to another based upon a $10 or a $5 change of benefits. This kind of stuff's help retain them and allows you to continue to grow instead of rewriting them every year. Go ahead, Eric.
Ryan, sorry, Ryan, have you, so when you have I've never worked with a DSNP client, so that's what they are. Could you set, kind of make a big point about, if you ever want to change plans, I'm the one that can help you do that. If somebody else comes in and offers to save you money on something, I don't want you just, jumping around. Now you got, 15 different insurance agents' cards. You don't know who to call, who's your current person. I would like to be that forever agent for you. If you're okay with that, let me, laminate my business card or make it a magnet or stick it, put that information somewhere that if you ever want to make a change for whatever reason other than you don't like me, then I'm that advocate for you. I'm that helper. Hey, I wanted to remember this. Are you getting to that?
Yep, I'm actually going to talk about that next.
Perfect.
So some of the things that we have to be able to utilize to help take care of are things that are at a marketing portal, then also tools that we utilize, like Eric just had right there. It's our broker user guide. This is an incredibly useful tool. We're going to send this digitally to you. But more importantly, this is a kind of a paper Bible for all the Aetna plans for you to utilize. It has all the important contact information so that when you are making these calls and you are more than likely getting the, hey, how do I do this? Or, hey, how do I help that? Instead of you having to figure out, all right, I got to go read the evidence of coverage or learn a little bit more, we have little snippets and actual important numbers for you to be able to go to so that you're not having to recreate the wheel or having to learn a whole nother subject. You can actually use this as a cheat sheet so that when you're on the phone, you're actively giving the members the information that they need and you sound like the expert in your field.
This is too robust to fit in my phone. So I highlighted Southwest because that's the area that we work with. But this is something, and I've seen Miranda do this. She has basically a container of all of her sales kits, coverage of benefits, all those things. And you want to put, and I'll have a
little like sticky notes or sticky tabs to it.
Well, you want to put on here, so you go like this. So this is important. We used to do this at another company I worked at, is you put Eric's on this, meaning I'm not giving this one out, right? Not that this is for brokers, but if this was a sales kit with highlights and notes in it and all, this is mine. You can't have it. And I may use it in a presentation and show people, but you want to hold on to that so you always have a copy of that information.
Yeah, and more importantly, as a little CMS compliant piece, you actually can't even notate on those and hand it out to a member. So knowing that that's yours and yours only is very important on those pieces too. So you guys, I really appreciate all the time. And let me talk to you a little bit more about this before we wrap up here. But Aetna Marketing Portal gives you a great opportunity to go, and a lot of carriers have this, but these are fully compliant digital download things where you can use social media, you can have flyers, you can have emails. There's all things that CMS requires this year as far as how many states do I represent, how many carriers in those states, how many plans in all those states. We put all those pieces in there and we filed it directly with CMS. So that's customizable and editable with your picture, your plan, your own contact information, and your own website information. And you can utilize just simple pieces where it's free to digitally download. If you want to do it commercially and have it be printed, it's an option for that too. But A lot of these things are really great ways for you to be able to grow compliantly without actually having to hit your bottom line. So, and these are just some of those pieces that we actually have in the back of the book there that Eric was talking about that really highlight, how to help out members, different trainings, different pieces to that. I obviously be foolish if I didn't plug some of the pieces that we have here. But one thing I really did want to highlight is whenever you are going through and doing any types of new to Medicaid or new to Extra Help, Think Agent's website does have a Medicaid and an Extra Help Verify tool. So I recommend utilizing our tools when you're enrolling into our plans because we're very strict about how Medicare savings programs are allowed and which ones are not. So I highly recommend utilizing that one. And it's a great little piece that you can even do it on your phone and have it be on an app as well. So other than that, thank you for your guys' time. Eric, anything else you wanted to showcase or share?
Yeah, I just want to open it up. Anybody can unmute, or if you want to put anything in the chat. I had another random note of, some different sales tools or subscriptions you can get. Like Reminder Media is a ongoing magazine that you can mail out to your clients. It'll have your picture on it and all your contact information, things like that. Is just to stay in front of people, stay top of mind. So, and always offering out, if anybody wants marketing strategies, wants to dive deep into retention strategies, we're here. We want to talk through those with you. You can use your profit sharing dollars towards it. So just really appreciate everybody taking the time and being on today. I do have do the drawing. Hold on, let me refresh my number generator. Second agent on the list is Jamie with Yiter Insurance. I will be mailing you a Visa gift card for $25.
See, folks, all you got to do is just talk up and mention a few things in the chat, and all of a sudden you get a great little gift card like that.
Well, she had a lot of participation, so a lot of numbers, but she got some good drawings in there. So we'll be mailing that out. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Ryan and Eric. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it, guys.